Hi everyone, for this video I'm going to talk about this game called Genshin Impact, which I intended to stay for 2 weeks but ended up playing for 8 months instead. So how I got into this game Genshin? Last Christmas break, my friend Jay posted on the friend chat saying that hey, this game Genshin Impact, it was so popular on Twitter. And I thought, since I just finished my graduate application which took so much time from me, and also I finished my internship, and school only starts in 2 weeks, why not give it a try? And God knows, this game was so addictive that I decided that hey, I'm going to just stay on after even after the school. So how this game works is that in the beginning of the games, we just complete certain quests, which is basically follow instructions, explore the regions, kill some monsters, and keep exploring until we finish the quest. And doing so will allow us to progress through this thing called the adventure rank, which is basically our status in the game. This is something that we cared a lot in the beginning of the game because it unlocks a lot of features later on. So let's say there's this thing called the co-op system that we care the most. It unlocks only at adventure rank 16 out of 60, and by doing so we can go to other players' world and play together. So once we reach that level, our friend group, we can basically play this game together, which is pretty fun. And the other thing that we care a lot about in the beginning of the game is to explore the region, which is basically just Mondstadt and Liyue in the beginning. And this is basically look out for the chests and teleport waypoints. Later on, when we progress through the game, say at a level like adventure rank 25 and above, quest is no longer a main part for us, and neither is adventure rank because there are other things that we need to care about, which is improving our characters. And in order to do so, we need to do these daily grindings like daily commissions, hunting for artifacts, bosses, and talent materials, and etc. These things, interestingly, it is limited by the racing system, which you can think of it as a daily quota on how much we can do. So TLDR, how it works is we kill some monsters, level up our characters, and make them stronger, and use this to kill more monsters and stronger monsters in order to level up. One thing that got us really excited about is the wishes. Well, after all, Genshin Impact is a gacha game. The wishing items can be categorized into tiers, which is 3 stars, 4 stars, or 5 stars. So 5 stars is the hardest to get, but it's also the most sought after and for some instances the most powerful among the wishing items. The reason we need to go through wishes is that the characters and weapons we are provided in the beginning of the game is really limited, and we have to go through those wishes in order to get more of it. And these are the 5 stars I got. The most adorable I would say is, of course, is Klee, because she's so naive, as you can see from the next dialogues.
Diona is the best. I like listening to her. Last time I heard her say, I'm gonna destroy the wine industry in this city if it's the last thing I do. And I'm gonna help her using my bombs. I don't know what a wine industry is, though. Is it a monster? Thanks for helping me out every time I get in trouble. I have a thank you present for you. Barbecued fish made with my own secret recipe. Okay, so the secret recipe is exploding the fish out of the water. They're fully cooked by the time they land. But it's a secret, right? So you don't get to tell anybody. Just pretend like you don't even know.
The ones that I admire the most are probably Diluc and Ayaka because they are so hardworking and being responsible of their duties. One thing worth mentioning is that the visual system is also where the MiHoYo, which is the game developer for Genshin Impact, makes the most money out of. This is because there's this purchase system where players can buy using their real money in order to get more wishes. To illustrate how much MiHoYo can get out of a player, imagine there's this one 5-star character where a player not only wants this 5-star character very badly, but also wants multiple constellations for these characters, which means that you pull the same character for 7 times, and the character will just become stronger with every extra pull. This itself can cost the player around 1 to 2K US dollars. And imagine if the player is greedy enough to want the same thing for all the 5-star characters. MiHoYo can easily make 10 to 20K out of these players, and this does not include other things like getting more primo jumps for resin refills, and also get more 5-star weapons of maximum refinement. Another thing that got us really excited about is the patch updates, which happens once every 6 weeks. And from this we get new contents. Some of them are temporary and some of them are more permanent. So what are these new contents? So most of them are new quests and new events, and in some instances we even get a new part of the map open up. So this happened 2 times. Once is the Golden Apple Archipelago, which is temporary, and the other one is more permanent, which is the Inazuma new area, happening after Mondstadt and Liyue. And I would say these two areas give really different vibes. The Golden Apple Archipelago is like a summer island where you literally feel like you are having a vacation even when you are exploring the island virtually. Whereas Inazuma is more mystical and things look darker around you. Yeah, and there are also a lot of new events happen, like limits of. When I say new events, I mean like limited time event happening during the updates. I would say around half of them involve fighting with monsters, and some of them even got really competitive, where you can choose to level up the difficulty in order to get more points. And this is where you see a lot of YouTubers. They show off how many points they can get, and this is something that I find unreachable according to my standards. The other half is do not involve fighting with monsters, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but one thing that I found really cool is the theater mechanicus, which is basically just a mini game. Another prominent feature of the game is the Spiral Abyss, which I call it as the real test of how much you have progressed in the game in terms of character build. It ranges from the easiest floor 1 to the hardest floor 12. One unique thing about this domain is that, unlike other domains, you cannot consume food or get help from other friends just to strengthen your characters and make it easier to pass the domain. To put it in a more analogical way, remember that daily grinding domains of artifacts and talents that I talked about earlier on? That one I call it as practice or assignments, because you can get help from friends and also eat food to make it easier to pass the domains. For the events, there are a wider range of difficulty, and sometimes it could get really hard, so I call that as contests. For this Spiral Abyss, because there's no outside help, no food, and you are literally on your own, I call it as exam. So this is more like a very nerdy analogy. As for myself, I didn't have much luck compared to my 2 friends, Jay and Andrew, in doing this Spiral Abyss, and they, needless to say, they progressed further than me. So there was even once where I was stuck at floor 11 and I literally handed them my device and have them to complete the domains for me, and which means that I have them to choose the characters for me and even have them to build the characters for me, and ever since I just used the build that they suggested, and it just worked after that. I eventually got to the final stage, which is the floor 12 chamber 3, which I thought was a mini achievement, and in terms of the challenge stars, I got 33 out of 36 at the very max. But then after that, the Spiral Abyss got updated with Inazuma characters, and things did not get that well after that. Now that I talk about purchase, Naturally, one question would be, how much have I spent on this game? Well, I have to admit that I went from the mindset of not spending any penny on the game to ended up spending 3.5k USD in the game. Okay, I have been joking. I spent $35 in the end, like cumulatively. So how did I get there? In the beginning, I was quite firm on not spending any game because why should you do so? Like even when my friends have already spent their first purchase, and have been softly persuading me to like just spend a bit of money just to level up my characters and make me happier. I was still quite firm on not spending any money. And then the end of April came when I submitted my final project and was done with the term and subsequently done with my whole degree at the University of Waterloo. And then I thought, what's a better way to celebrate than spending some money on Genshin Impact? So the moment I submitted my last project, I logged into Genshin Impact and officially made my first purchase on the Battle Pass, which would give me a lot more resources. And then I thought, that's it. I'm not going to spend any money. And then my two friends, they were really, really generous and they sponsored me $5 to buy this thing called the Blessing of the Welkin Moon, which was a really economical way to get 20 wishes, and it's really worth it compared to other ways of getting getting Primo Gems. So admittedly, I was really thankful of them, but at the same time, I thought, hey, since I already have these purchases, why not why I continue to buy a bit more, as I need, as I should say. So I went on to buy another battle pass, which is $10, and also another Welkin purchase, which is $5. So this gives me $30. So yes, the last two purchases are kind of like just YOLO, just spend on the money. How about the last $5 on Welkin? That wasn't even intended, but it's just during the beginning of Ayaka's banner, I pulled another 5-star which is Chi Chi, and I knew that I probably need a lot more wishes in order to just pull another Ayaka. So I ended up spending $5 on Welkin just to get Ayaka in order to satisfy my desire, or maybe just satisfy my satisfaction, I should say. Now, this is not to say that this is a good idea to spend some money, but I guess if spending just a bit of money makes me a bit more happier in the game and enjoy the game a bit more, this is not completely wrong either, I would say. If you ask me what do I think about the game, well, I would say that it is a good way for me to create memories between my friends and me, especially for the two friends who later on became my housemates, aka Jay and Andrew. Our daily routine after work would be like cook dinner, have dinner together while talking about characters, builds, new events, and wishes. And after the dinner, we will do daily commissions and other daily grinding together. It was also really cute to see the friendly rivalry between them because well they were of the similar standards in terms of game playing and definitely better than me. So you sometimes you hear some conversations that are in a friendly way and yet being competitive to each other, which now I think about it, it was pretty cute. And finally, I couldn't say enough how I owe them throughout the game because they not only helped me in building my characters and making my whole profile stronger, but also light up some lively conversation that I could easily enjoy in. They also helped me quite a bit in real life. For example, cooking together, cooking good food for me, and also bringing me to Toronto to have vacation after we were all fully vaccinated. There were also some of the other friends who play the game not really for the competitive purposes in building characters, but more of like adoring the characters and enjoying the storylines. And this, I would say, this just gave us one extra topic to talk about. Now, if you are wondering, yes, I'm quitting this game, And it's mainly due to that I'm starting my PhD at MIT. But why does it warrant me to stop the game? First of all, remember me saying that one main purpose of this game to me is to better connect my two housemates and other Canadian friends with me. Well, now that I'm in Boston, well, my two housemates they are in Toronto to start their new job. I feel like the daily grinding or other things that we do together in Genshin no longer serve the purpose of strengthen our friendship, mainly because we are now separated. Another main reason, which is for practical reason, is that well, I'm starting a new program here, which is really different from undergrad, which means that I have to switch my mindset from a student mindset to a researcher mindset, and this will mean that I will need to really learn how to do research and later on do a lot more research in order to make myself productive and prolific. All my past undergrad achievements just got reset due to this new program. Not to say that they are erased, it just means that I have to start myself fresh new. And therefore, all this will mean that I need to just devote a lot of time into my PhD program. And therefore, I think that not playing the game would help me to focus more in my research. This does not mean that I cannot be good friends with my two housemates anymore. Well, we could still have video calls together and occasionally crack some Genshin jokes and laugh and reminisce in the past. It's just that we are not going to commit that much into the game anymore. That's it. To close off, I think that Genshin Impact is an extremely well-developed game, so thanks to MiHoYo for that. If you ask me whether my studies and internship were affected by the Genshin Impact, I would say no, because when I played Genshin Impact and studied for my final term, I still maintained a rather respectable average. Well, it dropped by 3% compared to past averages, but it was also because I was taking courses that were not really tailored to my strength. As for the internship, on the last day of my internship, my manager called me to thank me for my contribution and also my progress. And from the conversation, I could say that it went well, and therefore it was a happy ending to my internship. So I would interpret it as that my manager was probably happy with my performance. So TLDR, it was really important to have self-control so that you can have balance in both your studies and also in games. Well, some people would argue that it is best not to touch games at all, and I would not argue with that because they have their valid standpoint. There's also an interesting perspective where some people would think that, well, it's pandemic and you cannot go out to hang out with your friends, so you would need to replace that entertainment with some other indoor entertainment, which is to play games. Well, that is also interesting. And as for spending, there are also people who spend like thousands of dollars every month on Genshin Impact. My take is that unless you are YouTubers or streamers who stream regularly and make a lot of money out of it, it is not worth to spend that much of money on the game. Well, for those YouTubers, some of them, they need to spend money in order to attract views. So yes, that would be a good move for them to spend money. But otherwise, for people like us who just play casually and not professionally, it is best to keep things under control. And of course, now I think about it, I still wish that I did not spend any money at all and go free to play instead of spending $35 in total. So yeah, that's all from me, and thank you very much.